Hey everybody, welcome back inside the stash. Yes, we're once again down here in the old collection of things that I'm not doing anything with that I should, to show you what has come in recently. This was a very minor shipment. Just basically took a look at Hobby Link Japan's personal warehouse, looked at everything that was going to be that would have to be shipped out this month, and went ahead and shipped it instead of letting it wait and accumulate. So there's 3 kits, a couple of sets of decals, and 1 hobby design thing we'll show you here in a second. First thing we'll show you, though, is a set of side cutters that I picked up off of eBay. We gotten into a discussion on another group about side cutters. Now, obviously, there are a bunch of various side cutters one could buy. There's a very, very cheap set of testers. There's this set, which I think, I can't remember who makes them, but Hobby Lobby carries it. It's like $12. These are the current ones that I have. The only problem with these are they're really kind of a cruddy design in the sense that it's got that handle spring. Eventually, that's going to bust. The sharpness and the hardness of these blades is a little bit better than the like $5 testers ones that I had originally. The $5 Tetris one, I chopped the sprue in half, and the sprue apparently was a little too hard, and it put a divot in the cutters, which is why I ended up with getting these as time went on. But I was looking for something with a thinner profile. These have a pretty thick side profile, and they tend to get stuck in places when you try to cut small, delicate pieces off with the sprues. It also doesn't exactly have the greatest cut action because it's not the greatest spring being wound between the handles like that. So we got into a discussion again about side cutters with a low side profile, as well as something that are sharp, and they're not the $60-$70 God hand ones. I know there's Gundam Planet, and they're $10-$20 cheaper depending on what set you get. I was looking for something that would be a good compromise that could be an everyday workhorse pair anyway, without necessarily being a specialty set of side cutters. And so Tamiya makes a couple of sets of side cutters that are sharp pointed, narrow gate, if you will. One is apparently really, really crappy, and one is good. So why would I get the crappy ones? I got the good ones. This is the sharp pointed side cutter, and this is very important when you're looking to, if you're going to look to get any of these. It's part number 123 as far as what the stock number is. Trying to think, there's more stock numbers, 74123, but yeah. So 123 is primarily when you're looking at these on eBay. You can't read the tiny little stock number up here with the yen price. You can just see this great big 123. I can't remember what the other part number is. It's like 78 or something like that. Those are the ones that are not particularly all that fantastic. I've seen comparisons between the two, and really this is the better of the two. It's got a nice, it's probably impossible to see without taking them out here, so why wait any longer, right? Go ahead. This has like I said, a really narrow profile to them, and they're a little smaller in terms of your hand size. Obviously, I am not Japanese, so I don't have tiny hands, but comparatively speaking, it's a smaller set. But again, in width, it's probably, especially at the point, which is kind of hard to do, hold these both and get the camera to focus. You see it's a much narrower profile. Get it up that way. So I have to say, holding these things, they have a pretty nice little feel to them. There's a spring that runs in the middle there. So you would think probably eventually that spring will probably fail too. But in the meantime, that has a nice little, that does have a very nice feel to it. So at any rate, that's something we picked up. Look forward to getting to use those as time goes on. The end price on these is $2,900, which is like $25. I paid $28 for that, buying it from a U.S. Retailer. So don't overpay for those. They're available here stateside for less than $30. I've seen a lot of them for like $35, $40. Like I said, I paid like 20. I think I paid 25 plus like $1.98 to ship it or something like that. So, on the kit side of things here, we have this, which is the brand new tooling Fujimi Porsche 911 RSR 2.1 Turbo. This in the Circuit Noah Nami packaging, the Circuit Wolf packaging. You do get a little Martini logo for the back end, sort of a butt tattoo, if you will, and then there's this that Porsche logo up there on the windscreen, and then you get a couple of 3s and some X's for the headlights, and that's pretty much it, because in the manga, this is how it looked, so that's all you get. This is actually supposed to be white. I know it looks powder blue on this box art, and now I'm just totally enamored with the idea of painting one of these a real light blue. You can do whatever you want to with this version, because obviously being that it is, here's down here, a picture of the finished model. Try not to get the reflection to come in so bad. I have entirely too many model kits. I can't focus on the model kit that I want. Right? There it goes. So yeah, there's your completed build as far as Fujimi is concerned. We'll talk about it. Well, actually, you would have probably heard about it already. I think it depends on how these videos get uploaded. But Fujimi is going to be doing the 1974 24 Hours of Le Mans version of this, which is one of 2 of these that actually exist in real life. The other one ran in the 1974 24 Hours of Spa, a couple other races, but there were only 2 of these cars. This is not something that was created specifically for this anime. This is a real legitimate 1974 Porsche Group 5 race car, but they only built 2 of them. And so this, you can do whatever you want to with it, because technically it's not really a real car, ho-ho. But there's only 2 racing versions. The reason I bring that up is because I saw recently somebody wanting to know what liveries were going to be done for this Porsche. And, well, there are none, because there's only 2 of them, and I can pretty much guarantee you that next year, sometime in the spring, since the 1974 Le Mans version is owned by a private British collector, the 74 24 Hours of Spa car is in the Porsche Museum, and that's the one that Fujimi actually measured in person. So obviously, if they've measured that car, and the differences between the 2 are very minor associate sponsorships in the livery and a different car number, yeah, that's going to come out eventually. So if you want to build the race-specific ones, just hang out. I think, right, without looking through the notebook, I think November is when the 24 Hours of Spa car is supposed to come out. Pre-orders are available if you're in, if you want to order it ahead of time. But, yeah. If you want to build the race versions, just hang out. Fujimi's got you covered. Nobody's going to make decals for them unless the Fujimi decals are especially awful, just because there's no money in it. You're replacing, it's not like the Z4 or the AMG GT3, which already has 1 set of decals in development that I know of, where the cars are basically issued to you blank and you're going to make liveries. I mean, there are something like 18 AMG GT3s running blank paint endurance over in Europe this year, and another 2 or 3 of them running the Asia GT series, and that doesn't count like WeatherTech IMSA or Italian GT or British GT or International FIA GT or Macau. There's lots and lots of Mercedes AMG GT3s running, as well as a fair amount of BMW M6s that are running as well. So there are lots of livery options there. This too, and like I said, I think both will be covered. It'll have to be museum collection or one of those sort of really off-the-wall Japanese companies to reproduce livery that already exists. So just, like I said, hang out. It'll come on its own. Next kit is the upside-down. Whoa, there we go. Fujitsu 10 Tom's Toyota Corolla AE 101. This is the JTCC is what this ran in. I looked this all up, and now I can't remember a thing about it. I hope they read the instructions blurb and see if they mention here. They were in a different division than like the GTRs and stuff like that. They ran this car on the side. Haha. Won its class in the last race of the season back in let's see, what is this? 1992. So there are 2. You can build it obviously as a 36 or the 37, and there are minor associate sponsorship differences between the 2. But that kit's back out, and it has some new parts put into it that are going to cover lowering the model kit a bit. Let's see if I can show them to you without going crazy here. They're buried in there. Buried in there, and I ain't digging them out. But yeah, there are a couple of basically some struts and some brake backs. The struts are for the rear. The rear struts are lower, so obviously the tires sit closer, and the front brakes mount in a different place to lower the car a little bit, because otherwise it had sort of a factory stock ride height in a race car. Last kit in the shipment was the Suzuki Jimny JA111 for the 1990 version. This is the one that came with basically a new grille and then a new stick shift and steering wheel, being the only real new parts in this. Otherwise, it is effectively the other Jimny that was the new tool Jimny that was done a few months ago. So, yeah, what can you say about it? It's a tiny little import, or not even imported technically, but a tiny little SUV. And then on the decal side of things, only 2 sets. Wow, 2 sets. Yeah, we'll fix that as time goes on. And that is the Hasegawa EG6 carbon dress-up set. This sort of is a mix mash between a dress-up set for a street car and a dress-up set for the Group A race car. You see back here what the general gist of it is. It's a hood, a roof, and a rear deck area, carbon fiber, and then you have different up here on the mirrors. You have different carbon fiber for the Group A race car and the street car, as well as a carbon fiber wrap for the racing seat in the race car. And then the other decals that decided to show up there are this set of stripes, which are the special editions of the Lancia Super Delta Integral Evolution. Guys who watched the September video for the expected releases know that this street car that Hasegawa did is being reissued. I bought this set of stripes specifically to do this one down here, which was a Japanese-specific export car that uses these gold and blue stripes on the right side here. Basically, this runs down the roof, and then these are pinstripes for the side. And you get a couple of things in here, like a gauge cluster and some various other little stickers. I believe, although I don't know for sure, I'd have to build one and see what's left over. I believe that if you use just the stripes for any given kit, you can build all of the other ones as well, because there are options to build these 4 cars. Obviously, the white and blue ones are Martini special cars that were built to celebrate the Martini liveried rally cars that had won championships. This one, I can't remember, is like the blue special or something like that. It's in Italian, but basically the English works out to be like the blue special. And then, like I said, this one down here was a special run of 100 cars that was exported specifically to Japan. Irony, they still had left-hand drives. So there's that. And like I said, I think if you'd lose unless you use specifically that gauge cluster. I think that the decals themselves, you can build all 4 of the cars with the decals instead of just one set. And last but not least, from Hobby Design, we have this little wide body resin kit for the Rocket Bunny Honda EG6. This goes to, obviously, the Hasegawa Honda EG6. So I think you can see sort of where we're going with this. I'm going to take that Nori P Civic that I bought on the cheap, basically for the wheels. Decals in that kit are shot, but otherwise the kit itself is fine. SK Decals makes Nori P decals. I have a set of those coming with a few other things, goodies from SK as well. We're going to take this body kit, shove it on the Nori P race car kit. We're going to take the wheels out of the Nori P kit and put them into a regular, one of the reissued ones that has the suspension differences. This kit comes with suspension pieces to slam the car down like this. It also comes with decals to make about 4 or 5 different versions of the Rocket Bunny. You're not stuck building this Sunoco sponsored one, basically. And yeah, so we're going to take that. We're going to take this, the race car kit, this carbon fiber decal set, and we're going to combine it into something special, hopefully, at some point in the next how many years I have left to live. Otherwise, somebody's going to get a really sweet project, right? Just don't tell my wife what I bought it for. That old gag. We were talking about that here recently, about people who lie to their spouses in terms of their hobby book purchasing. That's a bad plan for long-term relationship success. At any rate, guys, that is it for this video. Mercifully short, right? It's only, what, 20 minutes or so? So, anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys on the other side.